UCF is a very defensive-minded team, physical, a group that they'll play some man, they'll play some zone, they'll press. They've got two dynamic guards with Johnson and Sellers that really can score the ball at a high level, and then they've got great length and size everywhere. So I think for us, what's going to be important, first of all, defensively, get back, get set, protect inside out because they've got great size, and then limit them to one shot. From an offensive standpoint, regardless of their man zone, it's going to be, play with some pace, attack the paint, and then, just play for one another. So it's kind of our standard, but that's what it looks like it'll be for them.
What are your thoughts on when you watch the film from Wednesday of what you guys did offensively, ex Marion?
I think early, it was such a physical game. I think early we kind of, they did a good job keeping bodies in front of us and disrupted our rhythm, and we kind of tried to force it. It was almost like we were just, we were stubborn, wanted to get some calls instead of just playing our strengths. Felt like in the second half we did a better job of that. Certainly DeMarion's cutting and rebounding was an impact on it. But, I think for us, if we can continue to hang our hat on our defense, generate the live ball turnovers, then we usually get those points in transition. And they did a good job of defensively and then managing possessions early to prevent us from getting that, and we didn't handle as well as we could have.
We talked a lot the last 2 years of the second time through the schedule, things got harder for you guys offensively. Obviously, that's not the case with the schedule this year, but are you seeing less of that because of, I guess, how more variable you guys have been able to be offensively?
Yep, I think there's more variable for us. I think there's more balance for us. I think, obviously, it's not a true round robin, so that dynamic factors in. But I just think we have more weapons on a given night. It can be one guy's night or a couple guys' night. It doesn't have to fall on, one or two guys' shoulders. I thought a lot of times at the end of the year last year we were predicated heavily on Gabe and Jaron scoring the ball, and if they didn't, and they had to hit tough shots and do things, against set defense often. Now we've got just more different ways. I think we can play through our frontline guys more. We can attack off the dribble more with multiple point guards, and then we've got the ability with multiple guys to knock down the perimeter shots. So there's more options for us.
How has your team grown defensively throughout the year? Because, via KenPom, it's the best defense you've had here, and early in the non-con it wasn't clear that it was going to be that way, and obviously your defense keeps you in on a night where you're 13% down only 4 points against a good team at home. How has the buy-in just continued to grow and build with this team throughout the season?
Yeah, I think as much as the scheme matters, I think it's the connectedness of the guys. I think it's their togetherness, their unity. I think a big part is depth. That just like offensively, there's some more balance. I think defensively, there's times we can go a little smaller and quicker. There's times we can go a little bigger, more length, athleticism. So I think we have more versatility. We've been fortunate from an injury standpoint to not, outside of Hassan's injury, to not have guys out for substantial periods of time. That's benefited us. I do think when you have multiple guys that can guard the basketball, there's been times where it's been Taman, there's been times where it's been Keyshawn. Those guys do a great job, and then I think we're really fortunate at the 5 position that the effort and energy that Rob and Hassan play with every single night, because the job that they need to do, guard and pick and roll, the aggressiveness, we trap a lot, we're really, up the floor. They're running from the basket to beyond the three-point line and back, and have to do it with tremendous effort. So, those are some of the reasons why I think, more than anything, you got to be a group that's connected and cares about getting stops, and most of the time we've done that.
You talked about how connected this group is. When did you kind of realize that this group was connected both on and off the court, whether it was in summer or early in the season?
I think you don't really know probably until you have adversity, because everybody thinks they're together and feels great about it until you have some struggles and you have some challenges. Felt like there were some good signs when we came back from the trip from Florida of how our guys responded to that earlier in the year, which gave us some, a good feeling. And then when Hassan returned, I think came back from injury, that was certainly a step for us. And I'd say the third part of it is when we went on the road to start league play at Oklahoma, and they were the more physical team, just how we handled that and bounced back to be able to beat Houston right after that was, showed me a lot about that togetherness. So I think it's more of an evolution. It took some time. I think there's certain steps in the equation. But I think, Hassan not being with us and then returning, he's a big part of our team and a big part of that chemistry and cohesion. And I think, again, you learn more through adversity. When we had adversity, our guys, leaned into one another and stayed connected.
Trey talked about the group kind of having a bonfire between the apartment buildings. How much of a group coming together is the coaching staff kind of doing different things to bring a group together, but also the importance of players, taking an initiative themselves to bond together as a team?
Yeah, we certainly tried to build an environment where that unity is a big part of it. It's one of the pillars, things we stand for and believe in. So we try to make some of those choices, but really to get it, it is going to be player driven. It's going to be guys like Rob Jones, who have been here for 3 years, or Trey King, who's been here 2.5 years, or with Taman, the pride that he takes, and then Conrad Hawley's impact on our team dynamic is phenomenal. So there's things we certainly try to foster and cultivate within our program, and then it's the organic things that our players make choices to do outside the program that really helps take that to the highest level.
You talked about the importance of Hassan, but defensively he's shown so much with his ability to blitz and hedge ball screens, but also protect the rim. How much does that give you guys from a defensive versatility perspective?
Yeah, I mean, he and Rob do the job differently, but it's a job that requires a lot of effort, energy, play harder than your opponent, play in shorter stretches, but like with just giving everything that you have. And so I think, Rob has more of a physical dynamic of how he brings that. Hassan's is more of a fast twitch, athletic and space, disruptive way of doing that. But, we feel good that at that position, we feel confident going every game that we're going to have the more blue-collar, harder working, harder playing guys, and those guys have done an awesome job of being consistent with doing that night in and night out.
I guess one more for me. This time of the year, you've talked so much this year about like hard work and like commitment and staying focused, but late in the year, how do you make sure you're not overworking your team and making sure that practice isn't too demanding and things along those lines, as you want to avoid fatigue, right?
Yeah, we certainly make choices depending on where we're at in the schedule of the week. If we need an additional day off, or if we need a longer practice, a shorter practice, more time off our feet. Do we utilize shoot-around times on the road in the morning, or let our guys get extra rest? So all those things factor in. I think it's important that try to do a great job always communicating with our guys, so I have a feel for where they're at mentally, where they're at physically, and just trying to gauge those decisions and where we need to be at. But again, we're always going to hang our hat on doing the hard work. So if we have to lean one way or another, it's going to be to earn it through rolling up our sleeves, and then try to make the right choices, being mindful of their physical health, as they come.
Maybe luxury isn't the right word, but how good is it to have a guy like Murray and a 6'7" on paper guard, and in practice guard in a lot of ways, but can lead to a rebound. It can do what he did the last game in expanded role. Just his versatility. How much does that help you? Because I think a lot of the reason we got some extended minutes was the foul trouble with the bigs, and we saw what he did with it.
Yeah, for him, we've seen in a couple instances the game at TCU. When Taman was out, his minutes were elevated as well. And so when we've had those challenges, he's really stepped up for us. Thought he played great at TCU. Certainly, the other night with Oklahoma was probably, his best game since he's been here. He gets the flexibility that on some nights we play him as more versatile defensive four-man, where he can switch things and be disruptive and be a lockdown defender. There's other nights maybe that we'll play him as a bigger wing at the 3 position, and we'll utilize his strengths that way, rebounding wise and physical advantages. Where I'm proud of him is mentally, he stays ready for whatever comes his way. I mean, it's been it's a challenging position to be in when you're the spot he is, because you don't always know when you're going to go in, how many minutes you're going to get, and how that's going to, what that job is even going to be. Because for him, we utilize his versatility, but it means that could be a different job offensively or defensively. So it speaks volumes to his character, his buy-in. He's extremely impactful chemistry. There's probably not a guy in our team that others are as happy for as they are for him. It was a great night the other night, not just for him, but for other guys to celebrate him and for what he does every single day. So it's valuable to have depth, and obviously he's done a great job.